gently entwined with the tides of the ancient river, formed in her concrete bed to prevent her escape, while 1,000 nightlights keep her terrors at bay. Watchful, but blind, the city's breath, fresh and cooling from the fevers of the day. Meanwhile, windows, like eyelids pulled tight over anxiety, hope and ambition, keep her gentle sighing from intruding their secret worlds. Their worlds, secured in 2 or 3 rooms, locked in tight rows, orderly but unruly, like barn-caged hens fretfully checking the fruits of their labour, only to find that everything is lost. This early summer evening, like clean sheets, has once again settled the hot-headed streets. And as the final bars of the reverie play out, and the binds of the hubris and the last of the staggerers into the anonymous night, so the rag pickers come, emerging from unoccupied spaces, from makeshift homes and roundabouts or suburban hedges, from motorway intersection shanties and long since abandoned garages. These strange collectors come with special interests and none. They come for forgotten promises, abandoned hopes and small change, for children's toys, single shoes, umbrellas, gloves and working parts. But the connoisseurs come only for your dreams. Their urgent eyes lighting the shadow-covered corners of Kebab High Street and nightclub banquettes, of curbsides where weary passengers alight their cabs before turning into bed. They stalk their most coveted spots in gangs of 3 or 4, poring over tips and skips with their swift professional hands. And as dawn rises over this slumbering scene, they retreat to tell the stories of their spoils. But today will be different.
What was that?
It's a violin, I think.
Well, yes, it's a violin.
Is it yours?
Why would it be mine?
I don't know, I just thought.
Well, what did you think?
I thought maybe it belonged to you.
What maybe gave you that idea?
I don't know. Maybe you look the type.
Looks the type.
I think it's the eyes.
What is?
Makes you the type. No, it's your hair. It's your hair. It's not your hair. It's the shape of your neck. It's in that space, that gulf there, where your jaw cuts into it. It harbours secrets and pulls and juts where you stress or smile. It's just right there.
And that tells you it's my violin.
Never said it was your violin, I just said it.
Well then, don't worry. I'm sure if you sell it, you'll have enough money for some drugs or something.
Excuse me? What the hell do you actually think I am?
I don't
Someone
know.
watch you
I
now.
never said anything.
Did you
that
even
would-
play the violin?
Look,
It's just...
I never claimed that I did. Please, don't you have some begging to do or something?
I asked you for nothing.
Well, that's exactly what you're getting.
I don't think you understand.
There's an understatement.
Listen, listen. This violin has played lullabies to kings. It was the final work of a master craftsman. It was played by a virtuoso who, in a fit of jealous rage, broke his own fingers and threw it into the river. No. This violin was a sad goodbye that led to obsession for this man. This man,
We'll call him John. John the Anonymous, name changed to protect. John the American Dead, the American Toilet, the extramarital hotel booked in his name and Mrs. Smith. John the Trick, the lover with deep pockets and little time. This John is 48 and he's worked 22 years selling advertising. And now he manages a team. He has tried to stay in shape, but he cancelled his gym membership 2 years ago. He drinks socially and socialises regularly. He has tried golf with old friends, but prefers the company of younger people.
He married Emily in 1997.
Marriage.
She was 19. He was her first love. At 8 years, her senior. John was the image of young manhood. So much more than the boys she knew. John regaled her with stories of his work colleagues and his understanding of the housing market and global banking. But now, 21 years on, she can see that she was taken by his arrogant charm, which in time she has grown to view affectionately as her husband's foolishness.
They have 2 children, Arthur and Ruby, both names chosen by Emily. John had wanted George for the boy, but Emily's oldest friend had already given that to her son.
We joined the family on the evening of their 21st wedding anniversary.
Look, just stay out of her way. Like I ever. Like you ever? Don't step on a line either. Lights out at 7:30 today. 7. 7:30? 7. See what I can view that.
We'll be back late, so lock the door.
Yes, Mum.
Take the key out afterwards so we can get back here.
Yes, Mum.
Don't open the door to anyone.
I'm 17 now. I'll be fine.
We'll be back late, so don't stay up.
I've been up later.
You'll probably cope better than me. I'll be asleep by it too.
In the car, John drives silently, eyes following lines, tracing curbsides, stopping at reds, ready at green. Emily sits with 1,000 things to say, but not the words for them to travel.
How long has it been since I forgot, since the start of the neglect, since your preoccupation became the thing that occupied you more? Was there a point in time, a fulcrum in which the scale tipped from bliss, from an innocent slip of your heart and exterior, chinked to show the bright flying flash of your beautiful soul? Now your eyes pass, task after task complete, and time is just another thing to be done, a check on the list, sometimes blinked and missed and passed on, an agenda item carried over. Must remember to love next week.
And it felt in that moment that every car passing, slowing, joining, and leaving was driven on by the same blind, persistent search for the intangible, being made by those who had long since accepted the inevitable. It was a waltz, danced blindfold, with blank, ballroom smiles. It was at the opera, while the painted pantomime blustered incomprehensibly on stage, that John fell in what he'd thought to be love. And in that moment, as a soprano flailed, and the tenor projected his booming voice,
Now the sound and colour of the stage fell to a greyish thud, and all John could see or hear was the violinist. Sat at the edge of the orchestra, seemingly emitting light, the young woman's passion and beauty so stirred him that he knew that he had to hold her, possess her, to the destruction of all else in his life. Nothing mattered any longer. So as the audience rose to its clamorous feet at the end of Act 3, and as Emily predictably slept on, John made his way down through the school.
Her name was Carolina. Though she's 23, this was her 12th international tour with the Russian State Orchestra, here accompanying Tchaikovsky's Sleeping Beauty. She'd learned to play since the age of 3 and had known instantly that she had found her voice. She often says that her heart only has 4 strings. But before John could reach her, she was gone.
Oh, hi, I just wanted to... Excuse me. I just think that we could just... I really... Oh! Do you think that we could...
You're really just like it now, just credit that.
Hi, I just wanted to...
You just
I love the way you play. I'll have the steak.
Is this one vegan? Yes, sir.
We'll have the Beaujolais, the Pinot,
You
white wine.
drink so
Oh,
much.
well, I don't have to.
So you...
Well, it's just that...
Oh, it's okay.
No, it's...
No, it's okay. I understand. You don't have to stay. I mean, it's up to you.
Will I see you?
If you want to, if you can.
No.
Will you play for me?
John, we're on a train.
Nobody will mind. Carolina, where are you going?
John, the tour's finished. I'm going home.
Let me come with you.
Beep, beep.
To your husband?
Yeah. Did you think this was John?
No, I gave everything for you.
Be this way. You know you're married as well.
Beep, beep.
I'll never
Never what?
hear you play.
There it is, John. You never saw me. You didn't ever know me. This is it.
Beep,
This is
beep.
your love. If this is your love, John, then you take this. You deserve this. I never asked you. You always followed, always at the concerts, always wanting, but never understanding. This is a curse for you.
So who are you and where are we?
We are the lost and forgotten, the broken and the box.
Recollect what is lost, to find or remember.
To remember.
To remember your stories, to remember our own.
Wait, so you mean that's John?
No, that's bad.
Okay, you, what about you?
I really should have thought of
Well,
you.
where did you bring me?
To one of the unused places.
Well, like a squat.
Like a place between places.
Just go.
Yeah, no,
really
no,
just
no, I'm
go.
interested in you. In all of you.
You just haven't and you don't and you
What,
really just
haven't what? Haven't been homeless.
I think I'm missing the point.
Look, we've all had tough times. I'm sure if I had other chances to make poor choices.
You should definitely go.
Why are you being so hostile?
Hostile?
Look, you bore me here. I didn't ask. I'm just trying to understand.
Right. You don't belong.
I never asked why.
Why you don't belong?
What? No, I know I don't belong. I have work. I have a house. I have shoes.
Have not. Had, never had.
Yeah.
Never missed, never lost.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, come on, go.
We're born to it. Or we find it.
Or it finds us.
We'll go find you.
This is Ellen. Aged 8. She dances in her dreams. Those dreams where you lose yourself in spirals, where you escape the questions of strangers and fears, and where you hide fear. She lives in the dark heart of the city. To those outside, the pulse runs thick with threat. Like each moment could be your last. But her lungs are filled with the city's warmth, those sad, smiling eyes and hidden love. The bustle of the streets presents 1,000 hiding places. The constant revving of the engines and jangle of bicycle bells is a silent symphony with cluttered colours. Because Ellen is deaf. She has auditory neuropathy, which means sound moves in pressure waves, like a big wave machine. The bigger the pressure, the louder the sound. Hello! And so we have the sound. And we have the sound waves that travel all the way through the air to Ellen's ear. Now the outside of Ellen's ear is a big trumpet called the pinna. And the sound hits the pinner, which focuses it down, and it's amplified by being in a smaller space. The sound is funneled down and it hits what's called the tympanic membrane, which is a tiny little drum. Ellen's eardrum is doing a great job. Now, past this, we have the middle ear. And here, you'll find the 3 cleverest human bones in the whole body. The ossicles. You got the malleus, you got the incus, and you got the stapes. Now, the malleus is glued to the back of the eardrum. And so every time it vibrates, the anvil falls into the stapes, and in a perfect motion of cause and effect, the anvil swings the stapes through the oval window. Ellen has the most beautiful, fully functioning ossicles. Lovely stuff. Now, through the oval window, we have what's called the cochlea. Now, this is a sleeping snail filled with gunk and fine hairs, tuned to vibrate at anywhere between 1,000 all the way down to 100 hertz. Now, electrical pulses move through the cochlea, attaching the hearing organ to the brain, where sound is interpreted and meaning derived as a comfort, a reassurance, a sweet nothing, or a threat. Ellen's auditory nerve doesn't talk to her brain.
No, it's okay, it's okay. Ellen doesn't miss the sound of the sea or the wind picking up through the stand of the trees. She doesn't miss her mother's laugh or father's voice. She doesn't pine for birdsong, pop song, or spoken word poetry. These aren't a part of her world.
Imagine being asked how it feels to swim in the deepest part of the ocean.
Or to walk on the surface of the sun.
How could you begin to describe that sensation?
You know that Mountain Olympus Mons stands 12 miles above the Martian surface. But could you describe that view? So hearing is to Ellen a thing that exists, but her life is no less about it.
Like us, Ellen is a collector. She collects wishes, which she spends on angry faces and flights of fancy.
So that streetlights in the rain sparkle like fires that warm families of nymphs. Saturday shoppers and city workers are an army of slaves working for a higher power. And carnival days, her favourite days, a parade of exotic animals against the cold grey of the city skies.
Ellen loves animals, perhaps because her mother is a mouse. Scurrying about, apologising for her daughter, for not marrying, for busily working 3 jobs, apologising to her daughter, to bores and to bureaucrats. While others mocked, maligned and mistreated her, Ellen loved her mouse mother, and together they were stronger than any beast on earth. You see, Ellen isn't afraid of the darkness. She doesn't see it, and every time it rears its ugly face, she has a wish to twist it until it is well.
When you're pregnant, you plan, you dream, you spend months stroking and talking, this tiny thing growing slowly and quietly each day. And you begin to wonder. And then, after the pain, that animal, visceral, burning pain, there she is. But then they arrive with their faces twisted with guilt, mumbling their careful script, writing prescriptions, recommending.
On the one hand there's this, but on the other
The
there's
leaflets, the support groups and the advice lines. But my baby, she's perfect. She's
Deaf.
She'll struggle her whole life.
She'll never hear music. She will never dance.
She'll probably never talk, never laugh, never.
Okay, class, today we will She seems bright enough, and sometimes I see glimpses of understanding. I just don't know what to do.
We know that Ellen receives nothing from her hearing aids, and a cochlear implant is unlikely to give her more than environmental awareness.
But she's getting better. Yesterday I was in the kitchen and some pots clattered about and she turned her head.
Do you think maybe when you moved
No,
suddenly...
I really think she's getting better.
Have you thought about sign language?
Sign language won't help her develop English. I know an excellent speech therapist.
I don't understand.
To help her speak and understand speech.
She doesn't speak or understand at all.
But... What can I do?
Hello. Do you know sign? Well, I'll teach you. Yeah? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Got it? So your name, what? Hello? Ellen. Your sign name, what? You like what? So your sign name, Ellen. My sign name, Alex. Nice to meet you, Ellen. Goodbye.
If I speak louder, can you hear me?
Is it better if I shout like
All right, but this isn't her, is it? This isn't Ellen.
Does that matter?
Before, the man, he was
We
John.
never said he was
Yeah, but he can play the
so
We collect.
collect.
anything.
I collect flecks of paper, you see. I really like the pretty colours and I use them to decorate things that I like.
I've got exactly 642 pen lids, see. So you know blue and black, they're the most frequently used, like that.
but the most frequently discarded is red. I have 250 red venues alone.
My name's Blue, and I like to collect all sorts of blue things.
You see.
I collect people's stuff. Wallets, credit cards, that sort of thing. It's not stealing.
No.
It's collecting.
Yeah. These ribbons, they're lost wishes, hopes, fears. People drop them, they tie them to rails or trees. They're questions, worries, prayers. If I don't listen, who will? How will things get better? How will prayers be answered?
But what can you do? What good is it?
Good. These are the lost stories of the city. These are the ones that are discarded and ignored in the heat of the day.
So?
So?
People discard these things because they don't want them anymore. Things are left, lost, and thrown away every day. Okay. It was 1990. There were 3 of us. You at the back, huh? You be me. Aged 14. You can be Jack. And you're Naomi. Solid youth and innocence. So much said yet unsaid. Our ungainly friendship and our games. Our relationship as a trio revolved mainly around the PlayStation, with hours poured into Tenchu, Tomb Raider, and Tekken.
Right, here we go.
Quick, come on.
Yeah,
I swear to God. Come on, ready, go!
The Fat Controller. Shin.
Used them yesterday.
Steel.
Yeah, that's, no.
Crane.
Oh, I like them.
Loon, ha, ha.
Slice!
Yeah, pretty slice.
Groundbreaker.
Mighty Marcel!
Check his name.
Yeah.
Ganja Gary.
Okay.
The Janitor.
No.
The Destroyer.
I'm gonna go with Groundbreaker.
Slice.
Slice and dice,
Fight.
babies.
Go on, up, down,
Cheating. Player 1 wins.
But with Jack it was different. Our friendship was sacred. And our games were sort of like weird sacred rituals. Here we go.
Ready?
Right, come on.
No,
Yes!
heavy.
Boom!
Right, come on.
Ow! Come on!
Oh. Gotta be thin.
That's-
Oi.
How about circus?
I can do circus.
Yes, circus.
Yeah.
Come on, over it.
Strong men.
Oh, I'm strong.
I like this one.
Right, come on, open it up.
Work, everyone.
Hey!
Tell me it's fun.
That's all right. I'm happy with that.
Go on, mate.
Hey!
Go on.
No, right, yeah, no,
Right, what we doing?
I guess.
Round numero duo.
Really? Yeah, no, we don't.
Oh, that went in my ear.
No, No, we can do that.
Come on! Come on, I'll put it in yours.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Oh, nice, come on.
Oh!
Yes! I've been waiting to do that. Go on, back we go. That is uncalled for.
Hey guys.
Yeah, I'm good. Actually, yeah. Circus?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
So Jack, we'll just do the same routine as before. Yeah?
Yeah.
No. Strongman first. No, he's just never seen muscles, right? Jack, no, look at these. No. Jack, stop, mate.
Shy.
Turn in. You watching? Yeah, no, okay, go on. Acrobat, give me some love.
Okay, go on.
Jack, you watching?
Hey!
Do you want to go practice our dirty dancing then? You can be Swayze, that's alright.
I'm just going to quickly, yeah, I'll be back down in a minute, mate. Yeah.
You alright?
Hey, you're right.
Have a look at that.
This?
Yeah, no, cheers.
Do you like it? It's new.
What is this? What is this? So I don't understand what you're doing.
What am I doing wrong?
Why is it different?
It's not different.
People laugh and smile at movies, taking trains and sharing smoothies. What about me? Can anyone see? And cars move faster every day. I still can't drive, but that's okay, 'cause it's not about me. Can anyone see? And round, where on earth could they have gone? Maybe I'll never know. Maybe I should never know. The movie queen swept off her feet. The script I read included me, but it's not about me. Can anyone see? And lonesome walks and TV shows, and now the things I'll enjoy alone, since they forgot about me. What if they forget about me? So you see, I get it. I grew up. I lost something. I felt misery and despair and
And what did you do?
You got a job, and a house, some shoes.
So how much? How much hurt? How deep cut?
Say more dumb stories and it's
You don't own all the pain. You
don't own anything. We read, retell, focus on this detail or that detail. Fix the broken.
You don't understand.
What? What's that story? Your coming of age epiphany. So, her mother died. And he gave up everything to connect to something deeper.
He left his wife and children for a woman half his age.
Yeah, but his true self wasn't with either woman, was it? His true self was... It was in the untranslatable. It was honest. It was pure.
Pure? Are you crazy? The girl lost her mother. Education failed her and she's left with nothing.
Well, nothing's all we ever have.
Born with nothing.
Die with nothing.
The rest is all made up, it's just stories.
You go to work and you produce all day.
You come out of work and you consume.
Produce.
Consume.
Produce.
Consume.
So who's crazier?
Yeah, perhaps, but that's the model. At least I'm doing my bit.
Doing your bit!
We live in an information age, right? People don't need your bedtime
We
stories.
rescue these stories. If it wasn't for
It
us.
wasn't for you. You collect junk and make stuff up about it. What actually are you doing? What do you contribute?
Alternative stories.
To what?
To the story that you still cling on to.
Yeah, what's that?
Story about doing well in school.
Don't
Right! But we couldn't live or make progress if we all dropped out and told stories. There'd be no stories left.
You still don't understand, do you? Everything, from everyone, from every way of life, they all have stories. They're all from somewhere or something. We only save the lost and forgotten ones, and the ones that may be endangered and left. It's just...
If I can read these anytime.
But you don't!
You won't!
Yes, but I understand, all right? I understand that people find love and joy. They're born into difficult circumstances. I know all this. Life is tough, all right?
You do nothing.
Well, what can I do? I don't know these people.
You don't know them because you're separate from them.
You don't feel or sense them, even though you live among them.
All right, then. Teach me. Tell me how to understand. Explain it to me.
Can't.
Why not?
There aren't the words. If we use words to tell it, we'd tell it wrong.
It's a problem of language.
The kind of language that reduces a cut.
The language that simplifies, dehumanizes.
Keeps us wanting and exploiting.
It fuels hate.
Personal priority.
Cost cutting.
Capital.
Corporate agenda.
Heartlessness becomes easy to justify.
And then horror follows.
Instead, we use language of myth, of humanity.
We look past the true meaning of things. Things with beauty or tragedy. And instead of trying to define what or why or who is to blame, we look to keep the whole tale. Because within that, there are things more important than facts.
It all started with feathers. Old Feathers gambolled on the broad slabs that line the A road, his mind singing the same songs it did on the way to anywhere.
Except it wasn't a song, more just a tune to whistle.
Except he never whistled.
He just heard the music and smiled.
To him, the city had a rhythm, a thrum, a call and response. Feathers is not an important man, but he works diligently. He's very much a gear in the machine.
And as such, he stumbles elegantly, lightly shuffling, smiling broadly, until...
A woman, elderly, maybe 84, no, 86. Children, but no grandchildren.
Always wondered if it was something she'd done. Hadn't seen her son in 16 years before she passed last week. It's just one of those things, she'd say. Feathers stops. Thinks for a second.
Races to the library.
To the records office.
Print 1,000 posters! Have you seen this man?
Feathers stops. Thinks for a second. He sleeps on it. The phone rings.
The doorbell rings. The feather delivered to the estranged son. Kind words whispered, rift healed.
The next day, Old Feathers gambolled on the broad slabs that line the A road, his mind singing the same songs it did on the way to anywhere.
Except it wasn't a song, more just a tune to whistle.
Except he never whistled.
He just heard the music and smiled.
To him, the city had a rhythm, a thrum, a call and response. Feathers is not an employee nor employer. He doesn't work for himself, but he works alone.
and as such, he stumbles elegantly, lightly shuffling, smiling broadly until...
There are two, equal. He and he. And they don't.
Feathers tells first one, then the other. He listens to the hearts.
And as such, Feathers kept walking, singing without singing and whistling without whistling.
Stumbling elegantly, lightly shuffling, smiling broadly until...
You, what do you do?
I collect other people's conversations.
Conversations, okay. Well, you could be our ears on the street and tell us about all the stories that come through. And you, what about you?
Glasses.
Glasses. Okay. Well, you could be our eyes to warn us about danger. And you, what about you?
I collect flowers.
Flowers. We can keep our spirits up when times are tough. And what about you?
Groceries.
Groceries. Well, we always need food.
Oh, it's food.
And how about you?
Keys.
Keys. Well, you can keep the doors locked when we're at night.
The next week, or it may even have been some years later, and Feathers was once again gambolling along the broad slabs that line the A road, his mind singing the same songs it did on the way to anywhere.
Except it wasn't a song, more just a tune to whistle.
Except he never whistled.
He just heard the music and smiled.
To him, the city had a rhythm, a thrum, call and response. Feathers is not an important man, but he works diligently. He's very much a gear in the machine.
And as such, he stumbles elegantly, lightly shuffling, smiling broadly until...
A woman. No. No, her husband, he... No. No. I...
Feathers stops, thinks for a second. He takes the long way home. His song is gone. His eyes now hang blank with hurt.
He stops at the door.
What words will make this better? How can he speak without fear? Reassure without doubt? What can he give her to fix this? No warm wishes or feathers could dust the pain from her eyes.
Better to just stay. Stay away and wait. Won't be long now.
And so, old Feathers waited for death to come to him. Mrs. Feathers waited for her husband to come home. Both locked in love and sadness, thinking of nothing but the other.
Okay. I get it. I understand. I could come with you. I think I could. I I have stories. I have love. I